So we're going to start right back from scratch. Make sure you go on DigitalOcean, head over to the marketplace. In your marketplace, you're going to go ahead and hit OpenClaw, and then you're going to use that select Droplet option. We're going to do all of the default settings here. And then we're going to choose the password option. So go ahead and create a strong password, and you're going to want to save that password because you're going to need it to access your terminal. All right, perfect. So your terminal should have initialized by now. We're gonna click into this button, and then we're gonna launch the console on our terminal or the Droplet. So you can think of a Droplet as renting a digital space to host your OpenClaw from DigitalOcean. This does allow us to access our terminal kind of like from anywhere in the world versus if you were, and this terminal is going to always be online 24/7 versus if you had like a Mac mini. Sometimes it's not going to be running all the times, and you'd have to like go through like a setup in order to be able to access it from anywhere. So let's just quickly launch our terminal. It's my first time opening this terminal, so let's just give it a second. Okay, cool. So after you've gone ahead and opened your console, one of the things we have to do is we just want to very quickly add a swap memory to our files. This will prevent any out of memory failures that you might run into with OpenClaw. So once you do that, we're just gonna head and hit enter. Perfect. So we've added some swap memory, and then you just want to quickly do a quick verification to make sure that worked. All right, perfect. That looks right. And then, I mean, from here, we just want to make sure that we have the latest version of OpenClaw installed, even though we already checked, but this will ensure that we're always like pulling from the latest version, because sometimes the droplets are lagged a little bit behind. So let's just give that a second to run. Okay, amazing. So if you see this, it means that we are past what may potentially be the hardest part, and it should be pretty streamlined from here. So let's really quickly just check to make sure we're at our most current version of OpenClaw, which we are, even though it's the same as what we had before. Don't worry about that. Now let's get into the onboarding. So today we're going to do the onboarding a little bit different, a little bit different from what I showed you last night. Given a lot of the errors that I saw, I just wanted to have us go through the official onboarding flow that OpenClaw has set up. So this is what we're going to use. And just remember, we're adding these commands in front of all of our commands, because this allows us to access that special OpenClaw user that DigitalOcean provisions when we set things up on their Droplet. So you want to use this sudo IU OpenClaw before all of your commands so that you are always using OpenClaw as that user. All right, so let's get going with the onboarding flow. Let's give us a second. All right, perfect. So you're looking at the security disclaimer. This security disclaimer is essentially explaining that OpenClaw is personal by default and is a shared, and if you're going to use it in a shared environment, it does require lockdown. So it recommends using pairing / allow list, sandbox, plus giving least privileged access to your different tools, which means providing it with just enough access that it needs to do what it needs to do versus any extended access. So if you're giving it access to your email, you want to give it read-only access versus giving it read and write access, which means the ability to draft, and then even worse, send emails. So if you're going to do these things, you just want to be very cautious. It also recommends running the OpenClaw security audit. It just recommends running a deep security audit pretty frequently to make sure that there are no like vulnerabilities in your code. So yeah, you just want to follow that, and then please remember to add that sudo tag before. If you run into any troubles with your installation, you're gonna want to try to use these like terminal commands to try to reset your session and then do the phase all again. All right, so in it, let's go and hit that we accept and hit yes. Sweet. And then we are gonna do the quick start, and then you just want to make sure, okay, perfect. So just check here, make sure this looks good. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and select our model provider. So in my case, I'm going to be using my OpenAI key. You can use your your keyboard to control the terminal, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste my API key now. All right, so you want to just make sure that your billing is enabled on whichever service provider it is that you decide to use. If you decide to use Gemini, I have a good guide for using Gemini on my website, so you're just going to want to follow that one. But Gemini is also an option in the providers here, so you can select that from the list of providers. All right, cool. So let me just go ahead and paste in my OpenAI key. Sweet, and then I'm gonna use the most current model, which is OpenAI GPT 5.1 Codex. Sweet. So there we go. We've officially configured our model. It should be working. All right, so our next step is gonna be configuring Telegram. So for the purpose of this tutorial, we're gonna be using Telegram. And this is essentially the setup that you're gonna use for Telegram. So you're gonna go and you're gonna send a message to botfather on Telegram. And then you're just gonna do the / command, and then you can go ahead and create a new bot. I'm gonna use test lab Miami bot for the name of my bot. Let's see, test lab MIA bot. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab this access code, copied, and then I'm gonna go to my OpenClaw, and I'm gonna go ahead and select Telegram and hit enter. Once I go, I'm gonna do enter. Yes, so we're gonna do enter Telegram bot token. Then I'm gonna paste in that token that I just got here. Sweet. Then you just want to go in your Telegram and you're gonna click the chat, and this should start a new chat with your bot. Okay, sweet. So we'll come back to that in a second. The next thing that you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to hit yes to configure skills. And then you can go through and you can look at any skills that are missing. I'm also attaching a guide that will kind of like explain what skills are, what some of these like different things are. And then you can just go through and do the installation. It will give you the step-by-step instructions on what to do. But for me and the purpose of this guide, I'm gonna hit skip for now. You're gonna hit space and you're gonna use that to hit skip for now. Then we're gonna hit no for all of these. No. Perfect. No. All right. And then for hooks, so hooks allow you to automate actions when agents are issued. And I mean, it's kind of like self-explanatory. It's explaining it for now, but for right now, I'm actually gonna hit skip for now. Okay, it's gonna ask you how do you want to hatch your bot, and the options are to hatch in the terminal UI or open in the web UI. We're actually going to select open in the web UI. If you want to hatch in the terminal UI, it will allow you to talk to your bot in the terminal UI. We're going to use the web UI for this so you can access the gateway. Sweet. So now you're on this dashboard that essentially gives you some of the details that you're going to need to handle the next step in this process. So far we've made really good progress. Let's head on to part 2. Okay, so one key thing to know here is that that start message, you might not see a response from your bot, so you just want to send it something like hi, and then it's going to give you a user ID and a pairing code. So we actually want to go ahead and approve that pairing request. Sorry about that. We're gonna go ahead and approve that pairing request using that code. So in this case, I'll just delete your code. I'll connect the code. I'll collect the code from Telegram. Now I'll just take my code, paste it in. Just give it a second. Perfect. So now we've approved our Telegram, so we can go ahead and chat with our bot. And then here we go, or Tesla Miami